Hi there, everyone. Welcome to our buyer masterclass for 2022. We are in an unprecedented market currently, and so we wanted to bring you this class to help you understand what is going on and how to kind of pivot so that you can actually buy a home and win an offer. So let's get started. We are the Dreamweaver team, if you're not familiar with us, and we're doing this because low inventory, multiple offers, sellers are asking buyers to waive contingency inspections, appraisal, and contingencies, all of these things. So how can we help you do that? So we are the Dreamweaver team. I am Misty, my lovely agents, Crystal and Katie, there on the screen. We have over 25 years of combined experience in real estate, including investing. The best thing about having a team right now is you have the three of us working for you. So not only finding properties, but getting you into properties very quickly, because often they are going within hours. A lot of times when you see a new listing on the back end, we have notes from that agent, and there is an offer deadline the moment it goes on the market, which is typically 1 or 2 days later, sometimes Monday if it came on over the weekend. So we need to get in there quickly, formulate our offer, make quick decisions, and get it in there to even be considered. So that is a huge, huge advantage of working with a team right now, especially if you are coming from another state or something like that. So we cover the entire area of Northern Virginia. We specialize in lake homes. If you are not familiar with us, Crystal specializes in first-time home buyers. Katie is covering a lot of my lake clients at the moment, and I specialize in investors as well. So if you are looking for an investment property, second home, lake home, vacation home, your permanent home, your first home, we are here to help you. And we also cover West Virginia. Well, Katie does. So we've got the whole area covered for you. So welcome to our class. So the main issues that are facing buyers right now, number one is decreased inventory and days on market. DOM is days on market. So in our kind of average market in our area, like 40 to 45 days is normal. We are seeing 1 day, 2 day, an average of about 7 days currently. And typically most of the hot properties are going in those first 2 days. Now that doesn't mean you've had 2 days to see it. Typically you need to get in there that first day and they make a decision on what offer they are accepting that second day. So you have to make decisions quickly. This is not a market where you can say, I'm going to go home, think about it, sleep on it. You're going to lose out. So keep that in mind. So increasing loan rates. Loan rates are still historically low. 4%, which everyone is kind of freaking out about right now, is super low. I think my first house was like 6%, and that was low 20 years ago. If you have bought houses in the 80s and stuff, you've seen 15%. So 4% is very, very low, but it does impact your buying power as prices increase in your loan rate, then the prices decrease in the homes that you can buy to have that same payment, monthly payment. So you can still increase your budget, but your monthly payment will be higher as those increase in the loan rate. So third is competing offers, which we are going to cover a lot of today, how to win when you are competing against other offers. So we are seeing anywhere from 5 to 100K over asking price. So I'm going to show you guys an example in just a minute, but these are the things that we're going to be looking at. So when you have a competing offer, you're competing on kind of 4 main areas. Number one, the price. Obviously, that is the first thing everyone thinks about. So you have your list price, which is what it is put on the market as, and typically people are offering over that. So we're going to talk about escalation clauses, highest and best, and all of these things. You can work around that. Inspections. There are kind of 4 different ways that we can do inspections now. So we're going to cover that. But a lot of people are waiving them completely in order to look like they have a better offer than someone who's not waiving them. So how do we get around that while still also protecting you? Appraisal. If you are using a loan at all, you're going to have an appraisal. So you can't waive appraisal, but you can waive appraisal contingency. And a lot of sellers are asking people to do that, or accepting the offers from the people who have done that already. So we're going to go over what that means, how you can do it, and, again, how to protect yourself. And then seller details. I do not have a separate slide for this one, but it is big. It's kind of little things, but if we can do those things for the seller, it makes our offer stand out. So some of the things that sellers are asking for are kind of to help them in this market too, because, they're typically buying another house as well. They're selling one house, buying another. So they're in that same competition as you are. So they have things that will help them. Obviously, the closing date that they want if they're already under contract on another house, so that they don't have to move twice, those types of things. Rent back, if they need time to find another house. Again, they're competing with everyone else. So they know they want to sell, they're looking in another area because of a job, or, changing schools for their children or anything like that. Then, they are asking for buyers to include those things in their offers. So as an agent, we are reaching out to that listing agent, making sure that the offer is as attractive as possible when we submit for our buyers. So those are the things that can be included. Closing date and earnest deposit, which we will talk about in a little bit here. Okay, so let's go over a kind of scary example that just happened. So this home came on the market about 2 weeks ago, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. It had been in the MLS as coming soon. And this is a big deal at this moment that you may not know. So we have a coming soon status that only agents can see, as well as people that we set searches up for. So you cannot see it on realtor.com, Zillow, anywhere, unless your agent sends it to you. So that is the number one reason to be working with an agent from the beginning now, and not just looking for homes yourself on Zillow or Redfin or realtor.com or anything like that, because you are missing properties that are going under contract before they even hit the MLS. So you need to be working with an agent. So this was an example. It came on coming soon. I had several clients that I knew would want to see it, reached out to the agent to get some info so we would be ready to view it when it did come on market. Now, people can submit an offer in coming soon status. They cannot see the home. So they are submitting offers sight unseen. And we will discuss that more in a little bit, but that does happen. So you need to know that it is coming in case it is your dream home and you have that opportunity. So this was listed at $479,000. I had one client that wanted to see it. I had another client call me who owned a house in the neighborhood and wanted to upgrade, but she wanted a deal. And I told her, look, this is reality. This is what's happening. Everything is going over list price. You're not going to get a discount on this house if you're interested in it. It went for $100,000 over the asking price, $579,000. I didn't think it would go that high. We have no idea how high things are going to go at this moment. We're going to talk about that also in a minute. So how did the buyer win? There were 5 offers when my client wanted to see it. So they actually stopped showings at that point. So they won by escalating their offer price up to $579,000. They waived all inspections, they waived appraisal, and it was a cash offer. Now, a cash offer versus a loan, yeah, buyers have an advantage if they are using cash. I'm not going to lie. That doesn't necessarily mean their offer is the best, but most sellers believe so. So that's just what it is right now. So that went for 121% of list price. The average last year, and I think we're higher this year at the moment in specific neighborhoods, but last year was 102.3% of list price. So if you last bought your house, or you are a new buyer and you watch HGTV or something and you see people, getting a deal, I got it for $50,000 under list price, those things are not happening right now. They simply are not. And you need to be educated about it, and you need to be realistic about it. Okay, so the importance of getting pre-approved. We preach this all year long, every single day, in and out. You need to get pre-approved before you go look at a home. It is especially very important right now for several reasons. We need to know the top of your budget. Because homes are going for over list price, we need to know the top so that we are looking in the correct price range so that you can actually make an offer and get an offer accepted potentially. and that comes into closing costs and negotiating room, your lender needs to know how much cash you have. Can you go over list price? Can you make up a difference in cash? Can you cover your own closing costs? If you can't, that's something we definitely need to know. We're going to talk about that. And then viewings right now, a lot of sellers are making us literally show the pre-approval, or they will not even approve a viewing. So if you don't have that, if you are in the mindset that, I'm not going to get approved until I find a house I like, you're not going to get that house. You're not even going to get to see it, and you're not going to get to write an offer. So you must have that pre-approved. We are not doing showings without it. So get to your lender. So what are lenders looking for? If you are a new buyer, first time buyer, or you haven't bought in a while, I'm just going to go through this quickly just so you have an idea. Of course, they're going to look at your credit score. Do you have judgments? The lowest loan programs are basically around 580 credit score. You definitely get better interest rates at 640 and higher. If you have any judgments, those must be paid off. A lender will not lend you money if you have judgments for a number of reasons. They're going to look at your income and debts and your debt to income ratio. So they have a specific percentage that they like to see that basically shows them that you will be able to pay the mortgage. That's what a lender wants, right? So they have specific numbers they're looking for. And then your cash on hand. You have to have some, out of pocket cash to pay for specific things I'm going to talk about in just a second, but also your closing costs, down payment, they need to know all of these things. So they're going to look at all of that. So your loan options generally are these 4 categories, and I just wanted to go over them quickly because a lot of sellers now in multiple offer situations see certain loans as kind of less than, and while that's not necessarily true on a, are you actually qualified and can you actually buy the house, unfortunately it is a reality for many sellers. So we need to kind of discuss how to get around that. So number 1 is conventional, and they kind of see that as the strongest offer after cash. Of course, cash, as they say, is king. It's just what it is. So conventional, if you have always thought that kind of 20% down payment, that's where conventional always came in, but now you actually have options down to 3% down payment. So you don't have to do 10, 15, 20 or more. They do as low as 3%. FHA is kind of your intro first buyer loans. People who have a little bit lower credit can generally qualify for them versus conventional. And of course, you only have the 3.5% down payment. There are also some down payment help programs. We're not going to go into those, but they are available for some FHA loans. USDA is 100% financing. However, it is only for homes in rural areas. So we are, situated around Winchester area. Winchester City 22601 does not qualify. There's one little tiny area in there that does, but Frederick County, Front Royal, pretty much all the way to almost Manassas qualifies. So we are in a great area for USDA loans. And then of course we have VA loans for our veterans and active military, which are also 100% financing. They tend to have higher closing costs. So if you can qualify for one and compare to another one you qualify for, that can be helpful. Our team has really not had that much of a hard time getting VA loans approved, but there are a lot of sellers that do not like them for unknown reasons. We just always want to make sure our buyers are aware of that so that we can potentially mitigate that issue if it comes down to a seller not wanting to work with that. Okay, so also you have kind of out-of-pocket expenses. I know I discussed one of them. But the 3 main ones you're going to have are your inspections. So we always recommend home inspections to all of our buyers, even if you waive an inspection contingency. So I'm going to explain what that means in just a little bit. But even if you're waiving everything, we still recommend you have an inspection done so that you know any issues with the home for when you close and things you need to deal with. Okay, they're about $400 on average. You can add on radon, lead, all kinds of stuff, mold, depending on what you think the house needs. So those are more and above that. And then your appraisal. If you are using a loan, your lender is going to want an appraisal. The lender can waive an appraisal based on your qualifications. I've had that happen to several clients this year. They are usually, top tier clients as far as credit, cash on hand, all of that. So almost 99% of people are going to have to pay for that appraisal for their lender. You can waive the appraisal contingency, but not the actual appraisal. So we'll discuss that difference in just a little bit here. And then your EMD, you will hear it, that is earnest money deposit. And that is basically kind of your immediate skin in the game. You are going to write a check in our area, typically for $1,000. If you're looking in the Northern Virginia area, we're seeing about 1% of the sales price or more for the earnest money deposit. And that is basically, hey, I'm serious. I am putting this money down and I get it back if I back out of this contract based on what's in the contract. But if you just back out for no reason or for reasons that, you couldn't do in the contract, then the seller gets that money. But if you back out for normal reasons, you get that back, but it goes towards your sales price and all the money that you owe at closing. So that is about $1,000 in our area. So then, of course, you have your closing costs, and people always know closing costs. They don't know what that actually entails, and of course how much it is. So you have your lender fees. You're going to pull your credit report, charge you for that, title insurance, if you pay loans on your points to get the interest rate down, anything like that. Then you have prorated fees. So you're always going to have property taxes, your transfer taxes. If it's in an HOA, you'll have your monthly HOA prorated. Sometimes there are membership fees, cap fees, all kinds of things can be under there. And then your title and closing company, which is the company who is kind of doing the work for you in between your lender and agent to pull the title report, make sure that, you will own the house free and clear. No one else can make a claim to it at the end, prepare your deed, all of those things, your owner's title insurance. They're going to do all of that paperwork. So there is a fee that, of course, they need to get paid for all of that. So typically you're looking at about 3 to 6% of the house price will be your closing costs. So an example, just closed on a house, $199,000, and the closing costs were $7,799.94. Now that did not include your down payment. Those are just your closing costs. So the down payment is on top of that. So if you're thinking, I might qualify for an FHA with 3.5% down, you also need to have the closing costs in addition to that, or we have to negotiate that, and we're going to discuss that, how that happens and why that may not happen in this market currently. So competing on price. So now we're going to go through those kind of 4 things that are the main things people are competing on now in multiple offer situations. So the first question I always get as soon as I show a house, pretty much as soon as I open the front door, my clients ask me, how much is the house going to go for? Guys, I have no idea. So that example I showed you earlier that went for $100,000 above the sales price, I thought it would go maybe 20, maybe 30. It went for 100. We have no idea. We only know our client. We don't know what other clients are offering. We don't know their situation. We don't know they have a ton of cash on hand. They're moving from California or New Jersey where they just sold their house for a huge price. We have no idea. So what can we do to kind of help you make the best offer without having you spend extra money, basically? So escalation clauses, that's what these are kind of made for. So let's say we have a $300,000 house, okay? If you ask me what will the highest bid be, I don't know, but let's say, I would probably say it'll go for 315, 320, maybe 325, not really sure. Now you need to decide what you are willing to offer, of course. And here's what I tell my clients. You need to know your top number that will not make you mad if you lose out. So let's say, and a lot of people think, I don't want to tell my agent my top number because they're just going to tell me to bid that. They just want to make more money. Guys, No, not true. I want to get you the best deal. I'm going to make like an extra $100. It's not worth it to me. So I don't want you to waste money either. So this is how an escalation clause works. So let's say in the example, 300 list price, we can go into 305, but in your head, I'm willing to go up to 320. And if I don't get the house at that price, I feel okay. I can walk away. I'm okay. I'm not kicking myself because I didn't tell my client or my agent that, you know what, I can actually go up to 350, but I'm not going to tell her that. This is what is best for you. So we need to know what is best for you. So if you're able to go up to there and that is where you're comfortable, let us know because we can use that in the escalation. So this is what it is. An escalation clause is we're not going to offer that. So let's say 320 is your top, but we don't know where everyone else is going to come in. Maybe they don't offer over asking. Well, if the other offer came in at 300 and we offered at 320 and you win, yes, you won, but you spent an extra $20,000 to do it. What if we didn't have to do that? That is what the escalation clause does. So it says, here's our actual offer. We'll do 305. So we know, we're a little over list price. We are willing to go up to 320, but only if someone else offered more than 305. Now we're not guessing. We're not guessing what they offer. Okay, we offer 305. If someone comes above that, cool. We're still in the game and we are willing to go up to 320. So if someone does that, if the last, the other contract that came in, their top bid was 315. So you said, I will go up to 320 and I will pay $1,000 over your other top bid. So if they came in at 315, now you get the house for 316. So you saved $4,000. If it came in at 305, now you can get it for 306 because you're willing to pay $1,000 over the other top bid. So that will save you some money. But this is also, we're kind of competing on the price there, but you need to know that sales price percentage, kind of what that average is. So we said 102 before. We can kind of use that to determine where we think it will go, but also use it to determine where you should be looking. Because if we know that we have to offer that much over, then we need to know the top of your budget so we can look under that so that we can offer that over asking price. So if the top of your budget is 320, we don't want to be looking at 320. We need to be looking at 300 homes. Okay. Does that make sense? Hopefully. Let's move on to our next slide. So inspection options. Like I said, we tell everybody to get an inspection, but there are 4 different ways that you can do this in our contracts and in our offers. So in a normal inspection, a normal market inspection period, so you're basically saying, I have this many days to do my inspection. That is 7 to 15 days in our area. That gives you time to find an inspector, get out there, do it, get the report back, decide what you want to do about that. A normal inspection, you have your inspection period, and then what you can do with the inspection results afterwards. And that is, I can end the contract because there's a ton of stuff wrong with this house, so I'm just going to get out. You can ask for repairs, or you can ask for a credit for repairs so that you can make the repairs afterwards and the seller doesn't have to do it. Or if you're asking for the repairs, the seller has to do it before closing and then you don't have to worry about it. So you kind of have those normal options. Here, now we have sellers who are accepting contracts in multiple offer situations where they don't want inspections because they don't want to worry about someone backing out of contract. They don't want to worry about someone coming back and asking them to spend money or give them money to fix things, okay? So they want you to waive it. So there are a couple options for kind of waiving it and then total waiving it. So void only is basically, we're still going to do it. We still have that inspection period, but I will not ask you for repairs. I will not ask you for a credit. If there's something crazy, I can get out of the contract. Now that's attractive if you don't have another offer that's waiving everything, because it's still protecting you if you find something you don't like, and it can be anything in the contract. It doesn't have to be major. It can be anything in the inspection report, rather, not in the contract. You can void. You can get out of it. You get your earnest money deposit back. It's all good. Okay. Information only kind of takes that void away. So you're not going to ask for repairs, credits, and you cannot void it. But you still want to do the inspection. That way you know what you need to do when you do close. That at least gives you information. It doesn't give you a way out of the contract if you don't like the information, but it's more competitive. Now you have to know what you are comfortable with. And like we say, we always want our clients to do a home inspection so that they know. So the void only is kind of that medium for us. It protects our clients. It gets them the information they can get out if the house is horrible. Typically we know through our walkthrough, there's no leaks. We know the age of the roof. We know the age of the systems. Don't see any major foundation issues, anything like that. So the kind of fourth option is fairly new because of all of this stuff going on. And that is walking through with your inspector when you go to see the home. So you have to pay for him to come, him or her. They're not going to do a full inspection because full inspections take 2 to 5 hours depending on the size of the home, but at least they can point out things quickly like roof leaks that they see, foundation issues, under sink leaks. They can quickly look at the electrical panel to see if there are major red flags, stuff like that. So that can be helpful. And then you can waive it all because now you have kind of an idea, or you can do that information only, and that doesn't bother sellers. So you have options, and honestly, which option you should choose kind of depends on the house. So there's never one that we're kind of like, yeah, this is great for every client, every situation. It really depends on the house. Now the big one, and most people, I would say 99% of people have never seen this before because we haven't quite had this type of market, even when we had our last top market in 07, 08, because we had a lot more new construction and a lot more inventory. So now that we don't have the inventory, this is kind of where the newest negotiating thing has come. So appraisal issues and waiving appraisal. So appraisal is essentially a value that an appraiser comes up with for the home that the lender relies on to decide whether or not to lend you that money. So they want the home value to match what you are paying for it. That way, if something happens and you lose the house back to the bank can still get their money back by selling it to someone else. So they want to make sure that it appraises. So I mentioned briefly earlier that lender can waive appraisal, but you cannot. You can waive appraisal contingency. So it's a little bit different. So contingency basically means I will buy this house contingent on this. So in this case, the appraisal must match this price that I'm offering. If it doesn't, then we either need to renegotiate or I can get out of the contract. So if you're waiving appraisal contingency, then that means if it comes in lower than that loan price, you are going to pay the difference out of your pockets. Can you do that is the number one question. Should you do that is a whole different question. But I just want to explain to you what the difference is and how sellers see this and how it would affect your offer. Okay, so you have to satisfy the lender and the seller with this. So let's say list price $300,000. You want to offer $350,000. Okay. We probably know the house isn't actually worth that. Otherwise, they would have listed it at $350,000 unless they're trying to get people to bid each other up, which is happening now. So it may be worth more than the 300, but typically we know it's not worth a lot more than the 300,000. So if you don't have an extra $50,000 to cover that difference, you can't waive the appraisal because you don't have the cash to make up that difference. So it has to appraise for what you are going to pay for it. So now you have the competing offer from someone else. And this is where people get mad because they'll say, I offered more and I didn't get it, but it didn't net the seller more. This is the difference. So you offer $350, no appraisal waiver. Someone else offers $325 with appraisal waiver. And you can do this two ways. You can do straight up appraisal waiver and you pay whatever the difference is. or you can do an appraisal waiver of a specific amount. So we're just going to say this is appraisal waiver. We're covering everything. So they offer $325. The seller knows it's not going to appraise for $350. So if they take your offer, now they got to figure out in their head, well, where does the appraisal come in? How much am I potentially losing? So you have the $325. They say, you know what? We're going to waive appraisal. So we will pay the difference. So appraisal comes in at $310. That guy's going to pay $325. So he's going to pay $15,000 out of his pocket. If they had accepted your offer and you're not willing to pay any of that, and the seller has to lower the price to $310,000, they just lost $15,000. So that is why you will see people mad that they offered more than someone else and they didn't get the offer, but they don't understand why. That is why. It is what it is netting to the seller that the seller is interested in. And this is why people are waiving appraisal. So if you don't have that extra cash, we need to know, and we need to be making smart offers that are still attractive to sellers. Okay, so this is why another reason, talking to that lender, how much cash do you need for your down payment, your closing costs, and now appraisal waiver if that comes up. Do you have that available? Okay, closing cost help. So this is always a big one for our first-time buyers, and we love you all. It's just a different market right now. And so it's very, very difficult for buyers who do not have the actual cash to cover their own closing costs. So in a normal market, in a balanced market where it's neither buyer or seller market, or in a buyer's market where there are a ton of homes on the market and not a lot of buyers, you get to negotiate, versus right now the seller gets to negotiate. So if you need those closing costs, what can we do? Now, normally, like I said, in a normal market, we can request the seller to pay some or all of your closing costs. So it comes off of their sales price. So if you need $9,000 in closing costs and you offer them $300,000 with them paying that, they're getting $291,000. They're not walking away with $300,000. They're walking away with $291,000. So you have to understand that, because we also get a lot of buyers who say, well, I want a deal, so I'm going to offer them less. It's $300,000. I'm going to offer them $280,000. Oh, and I want them to pay $9,000. Well, now they're down to $271,000. Okay, you need to understand what that means for the seller, especially in this market, because they're not going to pay that because they have another offer on the table that's above asking, no closing cost, waiving inspections, waiving appraisal, paying difference in appraisal. That's what you're competing against. So we need to know this stuff. Okay, so useful options for today. What does that mean if you absolutely don't have the cash and you need your closing costs covered? We need to be looking at lower priced homes, or homes that have been on the market a while, where we can negotiate those things potentially. So if you want to buy at $300,000, but you need $9,000 in closing costs, we're going to be starting looking probably $275,000 or lower, because we can offer them more and hope that it appraises for that. And then they pay that out of the extra proceeds we offered them, basically. So we can go in, okay, they're listed at $275,000. We're pretty sure it will appraise for $285,000. Let's offer $285,000 and ask them to pay that $9,000 for us. Okay, that is how that works. But you also have to remember, it has to appraise for that price. There's no way around that unless you have the cash to pay the difference. Low inventory. This is the big one for first-time buyers in low price ranges. That is what you're qualified for. With prices rising so fast, we just don't have a lot of homes on the lower range, and people aren't selling them because now they have to pay more to buy another house, and they may not have the funds to do that. So we have very low inventory in pretty much every price range, but especially on the lower. And it's kind of weird, like especially on the lower and especially on the higher. So we have a lot of clients that they know exactly what they want, where they want, when they wanted the house to be built, all of this stuff. So there are a few things we do. Number one, we need to go through our list of what we are willing to accept in a home. We all have our wish list, our dream home that has everything, perfect location. It's updated the way that we want it, whether it's open floor plan or granite or whatever. We need to make kind of a list. What are your top 3 things that you will not bend on? And let's look for something that has those, while knowing that we can either fix or change other things. If you need something in a school district because your kids are there and you're not moving them to, change schools, that's your number one. We're going to look in that school district. Doesn't matter if it's a split level or a ranch or a 2-story colonial. We can work on those things. You can make that lifestyle change for, specific things. On cosmetic things, I have this reminder at the bottom of the slide here because I hear this all the time. You walk into a house that's like neon pink and bright yellow and orange and a purple wall, and people are like overwhelmed and just they can't see anything else. And that is the easiest thing to change. Paint colors. Easiest thing to change. You can upgrade things slowly. Okay, maybe it's not granite, but are the counters usable? Okay, let's, take it and we'll get the counters changed when we save up money. You must make your list, and you must be able to bend in this market. Looking further outside of your area, this is a price range thing currently on the lower end. We have a lot of people going to West Virginia, people coming from Northern Virginia out to our area because the prices are so much more affordable. It's just the way it is right now. Making a decision fast is absolutely huge. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, but they're getting 5 offers in one day, guys. You cannot go and see it and sleep on it. You can't. You need to be ready. So you need to know the neighborhood, drive by it as soon as we know it's coming on. Make those decisions quickly. Be open to video viewings. If you can't get there because, you work or you're out of the area and you're going, looking somewhere 3 hours away and you can't just drop the hat and go there. We totally get that. Agents will work with you. We will do video showings. We will get there for you. We will give you all the details. And then, you have to make a decision. That's just the way it goes. And finding an agent that works off-market properties. We do this a lot for our clients. My agents will tell you we are sending letters. We are door knocking. We are sending flowers to people, brownies. We are doing whatever we can. We can literally search homes that sold 5, 10, 15 years ago for something that will match for our client and contact that owner. We are doing that a lot. We are also matching people up. So not only, I talked about the coming soon listings earlier, getting on your agent's list so that when they hear of a property from another agent or they have a listing coming up that will match what you want, they're telling you first. I'm telling my clients first about stuff. I'm telling my clients about stuff I hear from other agents that might be coming. And we are oftentimes, I think we did it 10 times last year alone, matching them with stuff before it goes on the market. You need to have access to those off-market properties. Okay, guys, so what is next? That was a lot of info. I know some of it was probably a little confusing, but next is really connect with your realtor, hopefully with one of us. We would love to help you, but you need to be connected with them to get all of this information that you need and to be able to make decisions. So connect with a realtor and connect with only one realtor, please. 1111. You must only work with one agent. If you have an agent, call them for every single question. Do not call the listing agent. Do not call somebody else. Don't door knock and talk to the seller. Don't do any of that, guys. Call your agent for everything. Okay. Next, you need to connect with a local lender. And I know Quicken and all of those things that are online are super easy. So are local lenders. They all have websites. You can do it all online. You can call them. You can email them. If you really want to see them in person, they will see you. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. But you need to use a local lender. Number one, you're getting preference in offers from local lenders. They want to know that as an agent and the seller, they want to know that they can contact your lender and they are someone local. They can go knock on their office door and get answers. They know that they have closed loans here before. They know the neighborhood. They know all of those things. If you are using Quicken, all of that, Your offers are going down at the bottom of the pile, guys. Not going to lie to you. So please connect with one. We will send you our favorites who do impeccable work and can get you approved. Apps to use and auto searches. So I've mentioned the coming soon thing, I think 3 times now, guys. Connect with your agent so that you are getting those coming soon searches and properties as soon as they come up, because often they will go off the market before they even hit the MLS. So you need to know about those. Don't use Zillow, please. Redfin, all of those. Use our app, homesnap.com/Misty-Weaver. Our main website, dreamweaverteam.com. If you look at properties on there and register, then we will be able to see everything that you're interested in and let you know what is coming from there. And we don't sell your information, unlike Zillow and all of those guys. They're going to sell your info to multiple agents. So don't do that, guys. Those are the big things. Hopefully, I know I went through that a little quickly. We're coming up on about 45 minutes, which doesn't seem like long enough, and yet that's a really long time, 45 minutes. But this is so much information you need to be able to win an offer on a home today. So please reach out. Let us know if you have any questions, and we would love to help you, especially our first-time buyers. If you're looking for an investment home, vacation home, second home, anything, please reach out, and we look forward to making your home dreams come true.